Rudolph, the red-nosed aerobic sicko. I'm not gonna do bada bang, bada boom, bada bop because it's the Christmas season. We have to shout out the real aerobic sickos. Rudolph is a real aerobic sicko. I'll tell you about it later in the video. But the other thing I need to tell you about is Supwell app. You guys know I come on here every day, tell you about the Supwell app. Why am I telling you about the Supwell app? Well, because if you're watching this video, I know you're interested in shoes. I'm gonna keep it brief today. Supwell app, best place to talk about shoes. Supwell app, best place to buy shoes. Supwell app, best place to find deals on shoes. And as we're swinging into the new year, ramping back up on our spring marathons, I have to find a spring marathon or a spring half marathon. I have to find some race to commit myself to. I'm in one of these periods where I'm just doing random races and events right now. I don't like it. I need to refocus again and get faster. But if you're looking for a community of people beyond your spouse who doesn't give a gosh dang what your VO2 max is, come into the Supwell app. Join us aerobic sickos, us people looking to up our best when it comes to training and get the most. It's $5 to get started, and I guarantee, this is a Supwell app guarantee, I guarantee it's gonna be the best $5 you spend this holiday season because you're gonna be encouraged to get your miles in, stay healthy, and get active. Meanwhile, Barefoot Mafia is sipping eggnog by the fire, letting their aerobic base die. Don't let your aerobic base die this holiday season. Be like Rudolph. Let's get into it. What is up, fellow hobby joggers, and happy holiday break. Merry Christmas. By the time you're watching this, it'll be what, December 21st? At least right now it's Friday, December 20th, and I'm wrapping up work, winding down work. I am super excited for it. And you know what the best Christmas present is of all? A nice carbon plated big old max cushion gang race shoe. We're going to Carbon County today, boys. So I've been doing this series of 5 best race shoes of the year. I actually haven't really gotten any of my lists out yet. I think I'll do that next week. Probably won't be doing a lot of first run reviews and 3-hour-long shenanigans because I'll be with the family, so it's going to be a good time next week to probably do some lists and comparisons and other types of videos that are not going to be 5 hours worth of shenanigans and bring the family along for the ride. But this is coming in number 3 on the list of the 5 best race shoes of 2024 for hobby joggers. This is the Hoka Cielo X1, one of my favorite race shoes of the year. This thing has a special place in my heart because, first of all, I was able to get this a day before the embargo broke. I ordered it on a secret website. It's a completely legit website, but for some reason they just put up this inventory a few days early. It was happening more in the beginning of the year. This hasn't happened recently. Actually, I was able to get the Nimbus 27 and Nova Blast 5 early, but not embargo breaking early. I was able to break embargo on Speed 4 and this. No wonder the brands don't like me. Hoka actually does like me, so that's not true. But I was able to get this early, and the day I ran in it was the day Joy was born. Lil Roni. Lil baby girl, Rose. Oh, yeah, January 31st was when I ran in this, and I was editing that video and putting it up as right 10 minutes before we had to go to the hospital. Charlie told me she was in labor. She said, I'm having contractions, and I said, I bet. Let me finish this Hoka Cielo X1 video right quick. And no B-roll, just bada boom, bada bang. Posted it. And guess what? We don't do B-roll anymore. We just run and gun. We do what we can. So this shoe was not only the birth of Joy, it was the birth of the channel in the current iteration it is now. Because after Joy was born, my mother-in-law was here. And I couldn't film as much inside. I couldn't film behind the desk because the way this office is set up. Let me show you actually the way this office is set up here. Look at this. You guys have seen me push this door, but I don't think you've ever actually seen what I'm talking about here. This is not a real door. This is not a real door. This is some, I don't even know what you call this. This house was built in 1977. It's like a French door type of situation. So this does not soundproof anything. And then over on the other side here, if you look at this, we have the same thing. These weird fake doors. And guess what? It's the kitchen. right here. So this poses an issue sometimes where I'm on Zoom calls because Charlie will be cooking food and the kids will be absolutely screaming their head off. And meanwhile, I'm trying to do numbers at the 9 to 5. Anyway, when my mother-in-law was here helping out and my mom was here, that was a forcing function for me to change my style. And I always talk about, man, you have to work within your resources and constraints. And my constraints at the time were my time. I had paternity leave, but I didn't have time to film a lot of B-roll and do a bunch of in-depth stuff in the office. So I was filming when I was running. I was filming at the greenways. I was getting in my runs when I could. And that's still what I do now. I'm optimized for my time. I optimize for the money I have. We all have to work with what we have. So that's what the Cielo reminds me of, man. And each one of these shoes that I have here in the office, it's a library because each of them has a story. So that's a big part of what I think of when I think of this shoe. And the second run, so I did that first run review, and the next day I did a video comparing it to the Vaporfly. Did it get a ton of views? No. But what I had to do that video was get a treadmill, a gym subscription, so I could go on the treadmill, hire a babysitter to come watch Mason Reevesy so I could, like a true sicko, get my run in and then go see Charlie at the hospital on day 2 with Roni. So that's what this shoe reminds me of. It reminds me of the sacrifice, the dedication, and the grind. Embargo who? Hoka Cielo X1. What is this shoe? It's a race shoe. It's a marathon shoe with a tall stack of foam. And it's one of the shoes that is innovating the category because it's skirting the rules. There's a rule, World Athletics regulation. You have to have below 40 millimeters of stack in the back here. And they measure at a certain point that is 12.5% up from the front of this, from the back of the shoe. I learned that from the guys at Running Warehouse, Connor and Mr. Rubio. 12.5% up. So if you measure right here, that is below 40 millimeters. Meanwhile, in the center of the shoe, below the functional stack, not the World Athletics algebra equation stack, the functional stack is more like 50 millimeters. So this is a Max Cushion Gang race shoe. Really nice foam here. It's 2 different compounds. So the top layer is softer, and then you get this denser bottom layer here with a very aggressive rocker. So this quickly became one of the hobby jogger community favorites this year. It was one that a lot of people were buying for their fall marathons, using for their fall marathons. It's a comfortable time on feet shoe. One of the downsides is because it has more foam here, it is heavier. And we'll throw it on the scale in a second and show you, but it is heavier. So some people were choosing the Adios Pro 3 over this, or Alpha Fly over this, or Saucony Endorphin Elite or Endorphin Pro 3 over this. And I never considered it for my sub 240 attempt at Chicago for that exact reason. It is a heavier shoe, but man, every long run I've done in this has been great. Every time I wanted to have a fun, comfortable run, this shoe has been great. So they're actually doubling back and releasing the Cielo X1 2.0. And I learned they're calling it the X1 2.0 and not the X2 because apparently they have a track spike that is the X2. But they're releasing the next version of this in just a few months here. So this is going to be discounted. But man, one of the best shoes of the year. Good, comfortable upper, crazy colorway, and crazy bounce. So we can throw this on the scale, do some weight comparisons, and then tomorrow, this is the thing, I told you, you got to work within your resources and constraints. Tomorrow, I will take it out for some miles. I'm trying to get ahead here because we are heading into one of the toughest periods of the year to be productive, which is Christmas and New Year's. I don't know how I'm going to keep doing these daily videos through Christmas and New Year's with 3 kids, but gosh dang it, it's going to be done. So the weight here is really what made this a controversial shoe. So in my size 10.5 US men's, the left is 272 grams. This was also the shoe, fun fact, believe it or not, that started the whole weighing thing because I was waiting. I was waiting for this shoe to come. And I said, you know what? Let me just weigh it. Let me weigh it in. I don't know if this started it, but this is what popularized it on my channel, doing the weighing of everything. So 272 on the left, and watch this. The right side, 258. This is what started the QA check as well. 14 gram difference between these guys. So let's average that out to 265 grams. For comparison, let's look at the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. This was the standard in hobby jogger racing equipment till the Cielo X1 came on and innovated the game along with a few other shoes this year, but 226 grams. This is what a lot of people were racing in 2022, 2023 for sub 4 attempts, sub 330, sub 3 marathons. And this is 30 to 40 to 50 grams lighter depending on your size, but significantly lighter. That's dang near 20% lighter. So that is a big difference. The thing is, though, this is a more traditional platform. You're not getting the additional stack. You're not getting that additional foam, and it's not as aggressive. I always talk about the trade-offs here, right? A shoe like the Cielo X1, it's not the lightest, but you're getting more comfort, more cushion, more protection, and it's a platform that, for a lot of people, was the first marathon race shoe that actually worked for them. There's a lot of people who I recommended this to that are putting up 10, 11, 12-minute miles and said, man, I've never been at Carbon County before. I've never had a race shoe that's worked so well for my paces. And that's because not only do you get the additional stack, but you get the additional width here, the additional stability. So let me go grab another shoe. One of the most aggressive race shoes, if not the most aggressive race shoe on the market. Spoiler alert, this thing is not making my list of 5 best race shoes, if you didn't already know that. Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. Just look at how narrow this heel is. It's about an inch narrower than the Cielo X1. It also has one of my least favorite features in running shoes right now, which is a midsole platform on the bottom that's narrower than your heel. I talked about this today, which for you would be yesterday, unless you didn't watch it yet, which would then be tomorrow, in the Neo Zen video. Mizuno Neo Zen did a similar thing. That one wasn't as bad. The stability didn't have as many issues, but these shoes that have narrower heel foams here, it creates this potentially wobbly feel at certain paces if you're heel striking, which is the last thing you want in a marathon shoe, especially if you're going to be spending 3.5 plus hours out there. It's just not the most comfortable. I ran in this shoe for a 2:49 marathon, and I just didn't look at that. Look at that. Even by the end, and this is my form. I have a form imbalance. Look at that. We're not all perfect. I was dragging the heel pretty hard at some points during that marathon, and not the best shoe when it comes to stability. So if you throw this on the scale, though, again, trade-offs. Every shoe has a trade-off, 191 grams. So this is 75 grams lighter than the Cielo X1, and both are marathon racing shoes, ostensibly in the same category, but lighter weight upper, lighter weight foam, and just less foam. What you're getting in the Cielo X1 is all around more foam. You have more stack from their creative trickeration in the middle here versus the Sky Paris, more width and a denser foam compound, especially on the bottom, which is going to create just a more approachable, accessible, accepting ride for a lot of runners who are putting power down into the shoe. And that's why I love the Cielo X1. I don't like the word democratization. It's just one of those buzzwords. What it means, though, is making something available to a lot of people. And this shoe made race day fun and speed available to more runners. It's not a Vaporfly where you have to be running in a certain way to get the most benefit. And it still could go fast. I did some workouts in this where I was putting down sub 6-minute paces, and it still performed really well. So last shoe I want to compare it to is the Brooks Glycerin 21. And you might say, what the heck? Dude, what the heck? Why are you comparing it to the Glycerin 21? Not even the Glycerin Max. No, the Glycerin 21. This is a deep cut. I'm comparing it to the Glycerin 21 because this is a shoe that a lot of people use. They walk into a running store. They say, hey, I'm training for a marathon. I need a shoe. They'll walk out with the Glycerin 21 to do all their training and their long runs. That's perhaps changing because of trends on Instagram and more influencers on IG pushing new shoe models, but still, this is one of the biggest nameplates out there, or Clifton, maybe, Brooks Ghost Max, maybe, but shoes like this are what a lot of runners, 330 plus, are doing for their first marathon. And this comes in at, look at that, exactly, do you see that? exactly 300 grams in my size 10.5. And this is the whole thing with weight. It is all relative. Any discussion about weight or speed or firmness of a foam is relative. So while you have the lightest ratio on the market, Sky Paris coming in at 190, something that hobby joggers were used to for the past few years for racing, like the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 coming at 220. The Cielo X1 comes in, yes, heavier than those at 265 in my size, but then traditional training shoes are 300 grams. So it's a lot lighter than a traditional training shoe, 10%, 20% lighter than what someone might otherwise be racing in who considers the Cielo X1, and a lot more speed assistance, not just for those later miles, but throughout the race while still having the wide base and the cushion. Look at this. Glycerin is a tad wider, but not by much. So that's exactly what the Cielo X1 is. That's why I love this shoe so much. It has all the comfort of a Glycerin 21 in a race day package, which that is the last thing you could say about the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris or even the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, which for its time 2 years ago was a very comfortable shoe and still is a fast shoe, but comfort in the upper isn't there and forefoot protection isn't there like it is in the Cielo X1. So with that, I'm going to clean this stuff up. We're going to get our miles in tomorrow. I did get a bunch of packages though, so I think it'd be fun to do a quick unboxing here. I have a meeting in 10 minutes, but let's see what we got. I did get another shipment of Athletic. It's the holiday season, so I'm getting crunk, getting turnt off that NA beer. Just going ham. I actually don't even remember what I got. I do think I got some cocktail mixes for this. Their shipping is not the fastest, so I don't think if you order now, you'll get it by Christmas, but you'll get it by New Year's if you order now. And by the way, I do not have a partnership with them. I should, but I don't. So let's see. I got, oh wow, I didn't even get any IPAs this time. That's crazy. I got a bunch of different stuff. So this white beer, this is pretty good. This is like a Blue Moon. This Wheat's Peak. I'm going to have one of these bad boys right now. These are fire. Very drinkable. Belgian style. Shout out to Belgium. Putting in work. And then I got a dark beer. It's nice to have a dark beer option during the Christmas season. It just feels more special because I drink a lot of the non-alcoholic IPAs, but occasionally having a dark beer is nice. So this is the, what is it called? All Out Extra Dark. And then look at this. They started releasing these cocktail blends. So this is Moscow Mule. I have no idea how this is going to be. Cocktail inspired series. So I don't know if it's supposed to be a beer or supposed to be more of a cocktail. Crisp, refreshing brews served over ice and garnished with the wedge of lime. Okay, so I think it's supposed to be like a cocktail that you serve over ice. And then they also had a Paloma. A real Paloma, I'm pretty sure, has tequila in it. Let's see. It's a grapefruit tequila drink. Near beer with grapefruit, lime, and natural flavors. Do they say ice on this too? Enjoyed as is or over ice. Okay. Let's give this one a shot. Taste test. You can't do this with real beer, man. I have a meeting in 10 minutes. You can't be chugging real. I guess you could be chugging real beer at 4:30 on a Friday before your last meeting of the year, but that's just not what that's not Supwell certified. Don't do that. All right, Paloma taste test, grapefruit and lime, cocktail inspired non-alcoholic beverage. It's not bad for what it is. It's true for what it is. I just don't know if I want a cocktail. I don't know if I want a cocktail. I like the non-alcoholic beers. This makes me feel like I'm back at a Darty at D-Sig. Dude, I would have been crushing these. Man, this takes me back to those days. You boys ever been to a Darty? That's crazy. Something about this one straight up tastes like it has alcohol in it. I know it doesn't, but it just, I don't know. Something about it does. So that was the haul. We got the Moscow Mule. We got the dark beer, the Belgian white, and the Paloma. I know it's hard at this time of year if you're going to a bunch of events and you don't drink. Athletic is great. They have it at the grocery store. I also really like the Sierra Nevada Trail Pass. You can find that at a lot of the grocery stores now. They also have Sam Adams. That's not that good. At least the last time I tried it, it wasn't that good. What else do they have? The Corona they have is pretty solid. Oh, Heineken Zero is pretty good, and Stella is pretty good as well. And those feel more festive. I drink Athletic all the time. Switching it up to anything different feels more festive. But yeah, if you don't want to drink, don't feel like you need to just because it's the holidays. There's lots of options out there. All right, so that was the Athletic. I also got something else super cool here. This is from my friend Drew. So yesterday I was talking about the industry and how, man, I feel like a lot of stuff that I'm learning. Oh, okay. That's the whole family coming through here. I'll have to do this one tomorrow or later. I'll be back. Yeah, you're doing a great job.
I think she's feeling more frustrated. I'm sure you felt that before. He wants you to, that's how you get better.
He wants me to be a boss, but I don't want to be a boss.
But you don't want to pay the price?
Yeah. You're doing a great job, miss. Which one is mine? Ah. What kind of vegetables are those?
It's broccoli raw. I won't cook it in the oven.
Ah. That's fair. I won't try to use the stove. That's nice. This is like the pre-race meal. I guess it's technically, yeah, because I'm racing these high school kids. Yeah, I'll have some broccoli raw. Thank you.
Your pasta's on your plates when you go sit.
Alright. Kids are in bed now. We gotta make it warm. There we go. Let that thing burn. Burn. Remember that Meek Mill, Big Sean song? Alright, I think that's the right lighting. But yeah, this is from my friend Drew. Drew Whitcomb, the founder of Wear Testers. I met him on the trip I did with Running Warehouse, and he is one of those people, and I was talking yesterday, venting about the running industry and how these PR agencies don't want to work with me, and it's hilarious because I had another PR agency email me back today, and they said, nah. They said, nah, we don't want to work with you either. It's a conflict of interest. It doesn't fit with our business model. I said, what's your business model? Your business model isn't getting racks because I'm about to pay you money. I don't know. I've had mixed experiences in this industry, but there's some people across all industries who are just good people, man. And Drew is one of them, founder of Wear Testers. He's a G. I gave him a hobby jogger hat when I met him out there, and he's one of those people that just connects others. He's a connector. He connects people. He knows everybody. He gets all the shoes and he connects them. So this was part of his brand, his merch from Wear Testers. He just posted it on Instagram, and I said, bro, that's fire. I DM'd him. I said, bro, that's fire. Their brand is called Sense Apparel, one of the brands they have at Wear Testers. And look at this. It's a Kobe hoodie. So I knew I had to get the Kobe one. There's a Kobe one and a Jordan one. I'm always shouting out Kobe. So it says Sense here. These are some nice letters, man. I might need to look into doing something like this for Supwell. It's fire. But Sense hoodie with the Kobe. So shout out to Drew putting in work. They do a nice job with the reviews as well. They cover a lot of shoes as well. He's gosh dang 6'6". So he's a bigger runner. He's actually who put me on to this shoe again, the S-Lab Spectre, which did not make my list of 5 best race shoes of the year. Ooh, but he said this was actually his favorite race shoe, and I ran it again this week, and it's like a Super Blast Light. It's like a racing version of the Super Blast. So if you like that shoe, you like this one. It's a solid pick. So shout out to Drew and Wear Testers putting in work. Shout out to good people everywhere. That's my guy. So if you're a fan of Kobe and retro apparel, check out Sense. I'm going to have to throw this on at some point. All right. I also got today, and I'm just doing this unboxing because I just thought it would be fun because I got a bunch of stuff here, and I thought it would be cool to open it up. And I got something from Diadora, and I don't think it's shoes because it's not shaped like a shoe box, but it could be shoes. It really could, and then I guess I would just have to run in it where I can save it. But it doesn't, the proportions of this, look at this. The proportions of it make it look like it's not a shoebox, but it could be a shoebox. Let's see. I also didn't ask them to send me anything. They didn't say they were going to send me anything, so that's why I don't think it's shoes. But maybe it's some release that I'm not aware of. And then in that case, I would have to bleep this out and save it for another video. Okay, it is shoes. Should I, what should I do? Should I look at what it is? I should probably look at what it is. Oh, cool. It's Atomo V7000 women's. Okay, these are for Charles. Let's see. Maybe I'll put them in her Christmas stocking. She's gonna have a lot of Diadora. She already has the Cellula. I don't even know if she's gonna rock these. Maybe I'll give them away on the Supwell app. It's pretty fire though, and I think they're unisex sizings. This is a size 9.5. So if she doesn't want them, I'll probably be giving them away for free on the Supwell app. I have another pair of Diadora Atomos that I might be giving away for free as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to do some more giveaways on the Supwell app coming soon. I have a bunch of stuff over there in that box. Everything over there is going to be given away on the Supwell app probably next week. All right, last box. This is the Pierre de Rieston. And bro, this thing is so big, I don't even know how the heck I'm gonna get it on camera here. Look at this thing. It's dang near half the size of my office. So this is from a company called Roll Recovery. And now, sometimes brands will reach out to me now. Non-shoe brands. It's funny. Non-shoe brands want to send me more stuff than shoe brands, and ask if I want to test stuff. And so these guys did Roll Recovery. I think I saw one thing from them before. I think I actually saw a YouTube video that they had made or sponsored with some track athlete. So they're sending me some stuff. They have recovery shoes. They just launched a recovery shoe. And then I think they had some other recovery gear as well. All right, let's take a look. Wow, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. So people always ask me about what I do for massage and recovery. I don't do much. This looks nice, though. Deep tissue massage roller. I'm just not really that big into tools. My philosophy is that mileage will make most kinks and aches go away. But this is the Roll Recovery. Oh, look at this. Wow, that is crazy, bro. Applies deep tissue massage force. Stainless steel hardware. This is a piece of aggressive technology. Honestly, this is OD for my needs. So maybe I'll be giving this away as well to someone who can actually test it. So stay tuned on the Supwell app. Someone who actually uses recovery tools. If you're on the Supwell app and you use recovery tools, let me know. Because I already know right now, I'm probably not going to use this. Shout out to Roll Recovery, though. You know what I will use? Bada boom. This is their recovery shoe. I love recovery shoes. Look at this. I'm wearing my Crocs. I did a partnership with Crocs over the summer. They're one of the only sponsors I've ever had on the channel. And so I got some free slides out of it. These are solid. I've also been using the UFOs recently, and before that I used the Hokas. They all have slightly different capabilities. The Crocs is more of it's very flat. It's zero drop, and it feels good once you sink into it. The UFOs puts you more up on your toes, has more of a roll, and I think is slightly softer and conforms to your foot better. And then the Hoka is the most rocker. The Hoka's like a combination of the Crocs and the UFOs, where it has the rocker but also the softness. So let's see what these rolls are. It looks like it's a more of a slipper or even an outdoor shoe. Is that right? Let's see. Okay, it's algae inside of the box here. That's crazy. It's algae plus EVA. Ethylene vinyl acetate plus algae. Recycled plastic plus high stretch yarn equals air yarn. So the upper is plastic and yarn, and then the midsole foam is algae and EVA. That is hilarious. All right, let's see if they're dad drip certified. Bada boom, bada bang. These look like those Hey Dudes. These honestly look like those Hey Dudes pushing in the foam here. Oh man, this is not a Piva. I'm gonna tell you that right now. This is not Piva. Let's see. Inside. Oh, what the heck? They have an insole. Oh, this insole actually looks pretty nice. Should put this in the Super Blast. That's crazy. Yeah, this is a more of a slipper than a recovery slide. So we'll see how these do. I was able to get a pair for Charles to test as well. I wouldn't necessarily say this is dad swag. Looks like I'm about to pull up to the Bob Dylan concert. Looking like a Dave Matthews Band fan. Got a bunch of colorful bear stickers on my van rolling up to the Grateful Dead show. But yeah, shout out to Roll Recovery. I'll test these out. Something like this I need to use for a few days before I give any thoughts on it. So there we have it. That was all the stuff. Diadora, Roll Recovery, and Scents. Shout out to Drew Whitcomb. Let's see what else they had in here. Stuff for Charles. Should I give this to her now or just wait for Christmas? Is that an abuse of power to use stuff like this for Christmas gifts? Oh, look at that. We got an extra one of these as well. So I guess I'll be giving this away on the Supwell app. All right, I got to clean up this mess. I'll see you guys in the morning for some miles in the Cielo X1. Morning, first day of vacation. 7:43. One hobby jogger fights to maintain his mileage. The odds are stacked against us. The young children are milling about, spilling toys all around the domicile. Hobby jogger must escape the chaos for a 4-mile run. Oh man, it's cold. Man, I'm out here shirtless for some reason. I don't know why I did that. That was not smart. Alright man, plan for this run. We're gonna get in short 4 miles Saturday morning around the hood here. I have this event tonight with these high school kids. I was telling you about this yesterday. My friend Jim, 100 laps around Jim's house. He's an athletic director at a high school, so he invited some of the high school boys to come through. So this is a shakeout for that. That's going to be a 17-mile trail style race up and down the hills. But step in here. So this has one of the weirdest features in shoes, which is because of the bulging midfoot, it doesn't feel normal to stand in. You roll back. Your heels roll back. And by the way, horrible laces on this colorway here. I've actually never had... Ooh, man, I might have to retie them. I've never had them come undone, but they're just awkward to tie. They look cool, but they weren't thought out. Definitely not thought out. It doesn't feel like performance running laces. They feel like Christmas wrapping. Hoka actually changed. So this is the launch colorway. I don't know if those are going to stay tied. This is the launch colorway, and Hoka changed the laces on some of the newer colorways. But you can also just get the Supwell certified laces. All right, let's see. Bada boom. I'll see if I have better luck with this one. The fit is true to size though, and it's very comfortable. It has a nice soft step-in feel. That's what I love about this shoe. It's all about comfort blended in. Blend that comfort with the carbon. I mix the comfort with the carbon. I've been grinding like I'm starving. Alright, let's get out of here. No more songs today. She asked me if I'm running every day. I said often. Running in some carbon, drinking up some Martin. I think this is just gonna become a 2010 to 2018 rap song remix channel. That one was Often by The Weeknd. Remix, call it Martin. We already had Carbon's room. Whew, it's chilly out here. Man, cold morning run in the Cielo here. The beauty of this shoe is that for a relaxed run like this, I could feasibly think about taking this race shoe out. That's what's so awesome about this shoe. The rocker is aggressive and it does put me up on my toes. But it still has a lot of elements of a training shoe. My left one came untied. Wow, both of these came untied. They're flopping around everywhere. Now I look like a shoe tuber. Floppy laces, no swag. That hasn't happened to me at all with these, even though the laces are bad. So I've talked a lot about what's good with this shoe. What's weird with this shoe is that as I'm running along here and I'm out of more, oh gosh, I legit need to retie, hold on. Look at that. That's not good. Subaru Outstack putting in work. What I was gonna say though is, I have to take the gloves off for this too. Running along at my relaxed pace here, maybe even faster than relaxed, but not a race pace for me. My natural style is a shuffling, very efficient, low energy output shuffle where I'm landing more flat-footed and then rolling through the stride. And at my natural relaxed pace, yeah, these laces are really bad. I haven't had that many issues. Today is the most issues I've had. Maybe I just need to take more time with them, but at my natural relaxed pace, the midfoot bump is preventing me from landing how I want to. And so it is moderately aggressive for a heel striker, and that's something to keep in mind. I keep saying this shoe's not aggressive. It has elements that are aggressive. Yes, it's more stable. Yes, it's more cushioned and will have the impact absorption, but it will have you get up on your toes and encourage a certain strike. So if you are more of a heel striker, that's something to keep in mind. This shoe is going to encourage you to midfoot or forefoot strike, and gosh dang, it's the shape of these laces. What makes them so bad. Look at this. Because they're flat, I have to tie them in a certain way, because with a lace that's circular, you can just slip and slide it. With these, I have to make sure that the lace is positioned in a certain way so that when I do a double knot, it stays. This is super frustrating. I actually have not had any issues like this throughout my entire time with this shoe until now. Okay, hopefully that stays. If not, we're just gonna be flopping around like a swagless, low mileage barefoot mafia member. We don't want that. All right, let's go. Despite that though, the bounce is so nice, and it is really easy to run in these. They're putting me up on my toes, but for good reason, because they roll me right through. It's effortless to run in these. Santa better get his miles in, or ain't nobody getting presents this year. I've been thinking a lot recently about easy ways to get faster, because I always talk about mileage, consistency, but that requires patience and trusting that doing something counterintuitive will work. What are easy ways to get faster? I've thought of a few of them. First, running every day. Or maybe I'll call these simple, because it's not easy. It's simple ways to get faster. Running every day. If you're not already running every day, that's the simplest way right there. Aside from all the cellular, molecular benefits, you'll get stronger and thought of in the most basic way possible. The more you run, the easier it will be to run. Think about when you first started to drive and how nervous you were every time you had to go on the highway. Was this massive stress-inducing event. Now you don't think twice about it. That's the same thing with running. Every time you have to run, right now, if you're running 3 times a week, your body has to ramp up and down, like those first few highway driving experiences. And you'll just get more efficient at it, practicing the skill of running. So that's number one. And of course, the caveat is you have to stay healthy and not get injured, which, if you're running relaxed, shouldn't be a problem. Running relaxed and ramping up smartly. So taking a month or 2. Second, and this is, I don't know if I'd call it controversial, but just not something everyone wants to hear. And my friend Jared on the Supwell app actually encouraged me to talk about this. Or not encouraged, because he didn't say anything to me, but inspired me to talk about this. And that's not putting things in our body that are actively harming our recovery. And the biggest one here, it's almost taboo, or I don't know, I don't love talking about it, but alcohol. And I showed earlier in the video the athletic beer. I don't drink anymore. And I made that decision largely because of my health. and being able to focus on the priorities that are number one to me right now. And the reason I don't talk about this a lot is because, like being vegan, I don't think not drinking is a superior way to live life. I really don't. It all depends on your goals and your priorities. Right? It's like I wouldn't recommend the Alpha Fly 3 to somebody who wants a shoe for jogging around town and going on walks with their mom. I'd recommend the Brooks Glycerin or the Hoka Clifton or the Ghost Max. But if you are laser focused on getting faster, quitting alcohol or drastically reducing alcohol intake will make it easier. Alcohol is literally a poison to your body. Now, in small doses, and again, I don't even like talking about this because it makes me sound like a total narc. It's funny, I'm not. I drank for a long time, I partied for a long time. There's nothing wrong with drinking and partying. There's really not. Now, it can lead to some dumb decisions, but hey, a lot of things lead to dumb decisions. That's not my point here. And it's not a moral thing. It is straight up just pure running and what it does to our bodies for running. You're not going to be recovering as well if you're drinking. You're not going to be sleeping as well if you're drinking. So if you're serious about getting faster, it's a super simple way to do it. And I'm not going to say easy, but just because something is simple, for example, running 100 miles a week, that's a simple way to get faster. It's not easy. Same thing with quitting drinking. Even if you're not addicted to it or dependent on it or an alcoholic, just by virtue of what our society, at least in the developed West, that's the society I'm familiar with, in terms of what we expect, you're weirder if you go to a business event. And now it's changing now, but if you go to a business dinner and you don't drink and everyone else has a glass of wine, you have to explain yourself. At least we feel like we do, right? So it's one of those things where it's simple, but it's not easy. You do have to put yourself out there. There's so many situations where it's like being vegan too. Because when I'm at a work thing, I really do not want to be the center of attention. I just want to blend in. I wish I could just eat the same cheese board as everyone else and just sip the wine. But that's my lifestyle choice. So it is going to require you to inconvenience some people and put yourself out there in a lot of situations, especially if you have a desk job in the developed West. Drinking is part of our culture. And again, there's nothing wrong with drinking morally. I don't have an issue with it. And there actually are a lot of good things associated with it. It brings people together. It can take the edge off. And there's of course bad things associated with it, like leading to dumb decisions and drinking and driving, etc., etc. But for the purposes of running, very few or zero physical benefits. There are some mental benefits, like having one drink before some sort of workout the day before. For some people I know, some people do this and it helps them mentally. And I'm a big believer that whatever you do that helps you mentally is huge. And if you don't feel that it affects you physically, but it relaxes you, then that is a massive reason to drink a small amount. But in terms of throughout our regular training cycle, if we typically have 5 to 10 to 15 drinks per week, that's going to be impeding our recovery a lot. Sleep is going to be worse. You're just going to feel worse. You're going to need to hydrate more. You're going to be retaining more mass that you don't want. That's slowing you down. And again, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I feel like I need to caveat this a ton of times. And I don't think anybody is superior for drinking or not drinking. But it is a simple way to get faster.
It kind of sucks though, I'm not gonna lie. It really can in social situations. So that's the second thing. Running every day, not drinking. And then also, it's not just that, right? It's not just what we don't put in our bodies, but what we do put in our bodies. Fueling properly. That is a simple way to get faster. If we are not fueling our long runs properly with carbs before and after, it's gonna be so much harder. That was a big breakthrough I made with the 2-hour long run. When I didn't fuel, I was feeling terrible at the end. Oh man, this is a huge hill. Hold on. Yeah, man, if you want to be tip of the spear, sharp, performing at your best, you have to treat your body like a machine, like $1 billion piece of technology. Now, I'm not always the best at this either. See, I don't drink, but I eat a lot of sugar. I eat processed foods occasionally. The other thing is, just like how having a glass of wine helps some people relax, not being a complete monk about food also can help us relax and not develop any weirdness. So I don't like the word balance. It's actually one of my mom's favorite words. But there is a balance to all of this. We don't want to develop any weird relationship with food, but being smart and conscious and taking a common sense approach of, I'm going out to breakfast, should I have a chicken fried bacon, egg, and cheese, or should I have an omelet with feta, green peppers, and spinach, and a side of whole wheat toast? Which one of those is the common sense decision to fuel my body? It's really things like that. And that's how I think about nutrition and fueling. I don't do aggressive meal planning or calorie counting. I did actually write down everything I ate for 2.5 years when I was trying to figure out what worked for me when I first became vegan as an accountability method for myself. But fueling is a huge one. Putting in things that feed the beast. We want to fuel in a way that puts respect on our training. We fuel for our training. So there's 2 things. I usually like to give 3. What's another way? What's another simple way to get faster? Maybe you guys can do the 3rd. Let me know. What's a simple way to get faster other than running every day and fueling appropriately, aka not drinking and making sure we have the right stuff? I want to do a full video on this too. We're almost done, by the way. Mile 3.5. I always feel like this shoe encourages speed mechanics in a way, because it just feels so good to pop off the front here and drive. It's a Max Cushion gang reindeer right there. Look at him go. Run, Run, Rudolph. That song is actually about Rudolph getting in his mileage before the flight. That's what happened. It's a common misconception. People think that Rudolph was brought into the fold because Santa needed someone to light the way. That's not true. Rudolph was the leader the whole time. The reason he wasn't there at the beginning was because he was getting his miles in. He said, Santa, I don't give a gosh dang if it's Christmas Eve. I gotta put up a 24 piece. Consistency, bro. That's why I'm looking like this and you looking like that, Santa. And Santa was a little bit upset. He really was, but he respected the grind, so he brought him back. He put him back up at the front. That's what people don't know about Rudolph. And people also think, another common misconception about Christmas, the Christmas cookies, people think they're for Santa. They're not for Santa. They're for Rudolph and the reindeers. They're the ones putting in the work. They need to keep those glycogen stores filled up. That's what the cookies are for. And also, people think they want cookies. Cookies are okay. They actually want Morton. So this year I'm putting out Morton. You want to put out a few of the non-caffeinated and a few of the caffeinated and just let them pick. I think in the western states, they go non-caffeinated, Midwest, caffeinated. Once you get up to the northern, the lakes, they go from, I think the route is North Pole, Alaska, Cali, Minnesota area, Maine, then down the East Coast and double back. So once they get to North Carolina, they're on their 4th or 5th refuel. I just give them both options because at some points in the race like that, you might want one, you might want the other.
Bro, if you wake up and you see that in your bed, what are you doing? Tell me, what are you going to do if you wake up and see that in your bed? That is terrifying. Let's make sure we get all the light on that. Oh my goodness. Good thing I have optical zoom on this lens. I am not getting close to that. What even is that? It's like a bumblebee mixed with a cockroach, mixed with the praying mantis, mixed with the cricket, mixed with the scorpion. Barefoot Mafia sending emissaries through here. We gotta get them whacked. Scrooge and the Barefoot Mafia associates trying to ruin Christmas. Bro, you just know Scrooge was walking around in a pair of Vivo barefoot, all mad. And you know why he started getting a better attitude? This is a common misconception about Christmas. People think it was the 3 ghosts. No, it was 3 pairs of Max Stack shoes. He got the Skyward X, the Mag Max, and the Glycerin Max, and he said, bang! Oh, baby, my back feels a lot better now. My knees feel better supported. Let me go put up some miles. 4 miles and 17 hundredths, 7:32 pace, 31 minutes and 24 seconds. Only squad putting up more miles than the Slugs this year is Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Blixen. I wonder what their training is like. It's like ultra training, right? You got to keep a high base throughout the year. You have one big peak event, but you want to be in good shape for that big aerobic base. They're probably consistent with the 20-mile long runs. They're probably doing, if I had to guess, double long runs back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. Something like one weekend they'll do 20, 25, and then they'll do a 17, 20 cycling up and down, occasionally mixing in 30s and 40s. I'm sure they do a few 50-mile races throughout the year to keep that base high, and then it's all about the fueling. I'm sure they're super well fat adapted. There's a lot of misconceptions about Christmas. Man, we gotta get them straightened out. But bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. Hoka Cielo X1, number 3 ratio of the year. So first 2 that I did, number 5 was the On Cloud Boom Strike. That was my 5th best ratio of the year. Number 4, Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, and now we are at number 3 here.
So as we are moving up the ranks, these are the shoes that I enjoy most, and these are the shoes with the fewest issues. Issues with the Cloudboom Strike, that had a ton of upper issues. Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, no big issues. It's a great shoe. It mainly made the list for me because of the price to performance ratio. That's a great shoe, $225. You can train in it, you can race in it, like the Cielo X1. It's not the most aggressive. A lot of people can use it, but it doesn't have the je ne sais quoi of the top three here. All these top three shoes have a quality that elevates them to the next level. And for the Cielo X1, it's the comfort, it's the bounce, it's the rock, and it's the fact that you get so much stack. Right, so much stack here. It's the stacks in 5 underneath the midsole. So we got a nice recovery run in this morning, or aerobic run, 4 miles. I have about 70 miles across the shoe. Where it's been best for me are long runs with intensity. So if you are looking for a new training partner for spring marathons, and you want something fun and comfortable that can also do marathon pace, maybe you're not going to race in it, maybe you will, that's where I would look to the Cielo X1. Or, alternatively, if you are in a 3:30 to 4:30 marathon range, or a 3:30 to 5:30 marathon range, or a 2 hour plus half marathon range, or even a 1:45 plus half marathon range, this will be great. This gives the speed assistance and promotes fast running mechanics without forcing an unnatural stride. It encourages it, and it does encourage faster toe off and more bounce, but it's not overly aggressive for me. So downsides of this shoe: weight. For some people, if you want the utmost in performance and speed, the additional weight isn't the best. That is why I didn't choose it for my race. It's one of those things where how much is 30 to 50 grams going to affect us on race day? For some of us, if we have an absolutely perfect race, say we have an absolutely perfect race in the Cielo X1 and an absolutely perfect race in the Saucony Endorphin Elite, maybe the Cielo X1 would slow us down by 2%, max, 1 or 2 minutes, max, in perfect conditions. The thing is, for me, this is how I think about it, there are so many other variables that are more likely to slow me down than what's on my foot. My mental game, is my mental game on 100? Am I gonna have the strength at mile 8 when I feel my hamstring start, is it season up, to say, hey, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna ignore it? Or am I gonna let that get in my head and slow my pace down by 10 seconds per mile, which turns into 15 seconds per mile, which turns into a blown race because I'm now a minute off my goal pace and I don't have the fortitude to keep going? And so a good race shoe for me should not pose any issues. It should not do anything like that where it's gonna get us in our head and cause us to question our decision, because that's the worst thing that could happen on race day. Very small chance that a shoe is actually going to negatively affect your race unless it's causing rubbing, bleeding, messing up your stride. It's too aggressive in the back half, but in the first half of a race, there's very little a shoe is gonna do to mess it up. And so for me, that's why I did not choose the Cielo X1. The weight is one of those things where, for the type of runner I am, going for the 240, I wanted to be confident that the weight was not slowing me down, even though it was likely to make such a small difference. That's why I chose the Saucony Endorphin Elite. That's also why I chose the Endorphin Elite over the Cloudboom Strike or the Alpha Fly, which are my last 3 choices for Chicago. It felt like it had the fewest issues with it, and I wouldn't be thinking about it. And so for some people, the Cielo X1 is that shoe. It's the shoe that they're not thinking about. It's the shoe with the fewest issues, especially compared to the Adios Pro 3, which some people were deciding, a lot of people in that 3:30 to 4:35 marathon range were deciding between those two. And for a lot of people, the Adios Pro 3 had upper issues. So it's really things like that more than the weight that are gonna slow us down or get in our head. Am I feeling rubbing on the toe? Is my foot hurting? Is it causing some chafing? Because the mental stress, there's studies that have shown, and I can tell you anecdotally from all the Mint Hill marathons I've done out here, anecdotally, just being in my head can make or break a race, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of how I fueled. And again, fueling, that's gonna determine the outcome of a race way more than the shoe. How many miles did we put in during training? How consistent were we with our 20-mile long runs? That's gonna determine the outcome of a race way more than what we did with the shoe. But if you are seeking a nice, comfortable, bouncy, smooth ride, Cielo X1 complete banger, make sure you are signed up for the Supwell app, because I've seen a lot of these go on sale this year. So if you are looking for
a Cielo X1, you can definitely find one on the Supwell app. So let's close it out here with some similar shoes. This is something that I've liked doing across all these best of race shoe videos. If you like the race shoe and you want a similar experience in training, what shoes should you get? So first one here, this is a fun one, brand new shoe, daily trainer. If you like the experience of the Cielo X1 and you want it in a daily trainer, the closest shoe I have found this year is one that I've run in yesterday, Mizuno Neo Zen. This thing was a really fun shoe. I only have one running it so far. I only have 10 miles. I'm gonna get a lot more miles in it throughout the next few months. I'm gonna compare it to the Nova Blast 4, but reason it's similar to the Cielo X1, tall stack of foam, soft, bouncy, smooth, fun. This is actually lighter than the Cielo X1, which is crazy. This comes in at 258 grams. The Cielo X1 comes in, as we saw, 265 average grams, so it's a lighter shoe than the Cielo X1, but just as much foam, just as much fun in a training package. Now, because it doesn't have the plate, it is softer and squishier, and I said this yesterday. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it. If you don't like soft squish, don't get this. But where this is going to be great is for everyday miles where you want some comfort and fun, similar to the Cielo X1. Is going to be great if you want a nice, comfortable, supportive ride. Not the most supportive in terms of stability, but supportive underneath the forefoot. I don't anticipate this is going to have any bottoming out issues, and it also looks kind of cool. Not the biggest fan of this colorway. Someone said that this colorway was nitrogen, supposed to symbolize nitrogen being injected into the midsole, so it's a supercritical pattern. This is the supercritical TPU pattern. All right, second shoe here. If you're looking for a training version, a speed training version of the Cielo X1, what shoe should you get? Now, one of the reasons why the Cielo X1 is so great is because you can train in it. It is a fairly substantial shoe. It's not like the Vaporfly or the Metaspeed Sky Paris, where I wouldn't want to put a lot of miles on it. But if you do want a different version of it for training, or you just don't want to pay the $275 and want a training shoe, I would go Hoka Mach X2. This is $190, very similar underfoot geometry as the Cielo X1, and this is going in my, spoiler alert, top 5 speed training shoes of the year. This is one of the best midsole setups, and there's nothing crazy about it. What they have here, training foam on the bottom, race foam on the top with the plastic plate, this has been around since 2022. Brands have been doing the dual foam with the plate. Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 had the PIBA with the plate. Boston 12 had the dual foam with the plate, 2023, 2022. So nothing that they've done innovative here. They've just perfected this style of shoe in the Mach X2. So if you want a smooth ride, also better stability than a lot of the speed training shoes out there, they also do wrap the foam. That's the difference with the Mizuno Neo Zen here. They're not wrapping the foam to cradle the heel for stability. The Mach X2 does that. So if you want a nice, beautifully rockered ride that's also gonna encourage a faster stride, more turnover, picking up the pace, this is a good pick. So there you have it. Cielo X1, top 5 ratio of the year. We have 2 left. I also need to get out my lists of the year. Yeah, I hope you guys appreciated this. Don't forget everything that Rudolph did for us in terms of the mileage building community. Rudolph is a real sicko. All right, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I'll be back tomorrow with another show.